Panther, what up? We're here live. Why am I live today? Because I just want to get stuff off my chest. Not going to do a lot of editing. That's because I actually left my iPad where I do all my editing for this series at a cottage, where some people call a cabin. I have dust on my shoulder. Wow. If you're taking a look at this, some Panthers Post merch. Might want to help support the channel. I got to get the shop live, but you may have noticed I got some crust all over my, or it could be puke or poo, all over my sleeve. It's cookie. It's cookie dough. Speaking of that, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers passing offense turned our defensive secondary into cookie dough. They baked them. They had them cooked throughout the game. They saw J.C. Horner's out. They saw Josh Norman was just a spectator in this game. And they saw C.J. Henderson. And they saw Keith Taylor and Tom Brady, the Hall of Famer, who's now won 19 division titles. And I forget how many Super Bowls because I try to ignore him because he makes me upset. Saw those two corners, 24 and 25. This is sad. You're right, Red Tiger. What's going on? And thought, hey, let's make some lemonade out of these lemons. And they squeezed the hell out of those outside corners, leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to victory, 30-24. They have clinched the NFC South title. The Panthers' hopes of being NFC South champs, let's be honest, they put themselves in this position by bringing back Matt Rule this year. But the fact they're in this position is a testament to Steve Wilkes and his staff. But at the end of the day, as I just pulled Matt Rule right there, they didn't play the game that they needed to play to win the game. I know I say it time and time again, but they did not run the ball. They did not control the clock. They put it in Sam Darnold's hands. And while he has been better, I said this in the preview episode, he is due for a 4-turnover game. And he had a fumble, he had a pick, and he had another fumble. So 3 turnovers that put the Panthers in awful position to try to win this game. Passing on first down when they shouldn't be doing such things. They should be running the damn ball. Even when it's 1st and 20, run the ball. Because at the same time, you're also going to kill the clock. You're not giving Tom Brady. That's how you defeat Tom Brady as well. You don't give him time. Okay, let's get some comments here. Ashton Johnson saying, I want to know why the hell we signed Josh Norman just to not play him at all while watching our other corners get cooked. I personally don't think someone like Josh Norman could have hung with a guy like Mike Evans. I don't. As you saw, they had him on Julio Jones, the other geriatric player that was on the field. So I don't see him lighting up, against a, all-pro type wide receiver. I just don't see it. Red Tiger saying JC needs to become a cornerback that is a leader. He has a chance. Yes, he also has to stay healthy. Your best ability is your availability, and right now he has not been available. Jacob Tordhill, Norman should have been on the field more. What's the point of playing him for 1 snap? I don't know. It kind of reminded me of the Cam Newton situation. Not the same, obviously not the same impact, but they brought him in. I didn't want them to bring him in, to sell jerseys, which I knew they were going to print out quickly. But I didn't want it to be I don't know. Again, and this is the thing that I'm going to talk about later about living in the past. You can't live in the past, especially in the game of football. But the fact that, let me try to organize my thoughts here. Panthers lose 30-24. Their season's basically done. They go to New Orleans next week. That's it. No chance of making it to the playoffs. They have 6 wins, more than they've had in the last 3 years, but it's with 2 head coaches, and is what it is. They're picking 9th in the draft, but didn't run the ball. Had to control the clock, running the ball. Did not do that. Sam Darnold, he's not the guy. He is a good guy, great locker room guy. I could see him being a bridge quarterback for the rookie next year if they draft a rookie quarterback. But he is not the guy. You should not have put the game in his hands so often. And it was early. It's like it's strange. We know what this rushing offense can do. Literally broke records last week, 320 yards rushing. And then just kind of got away from it right off the bat. There really was no establishment of the run. And I know Tampa's defense is pretty good, but so was Detroit's, and so it was a bummer. And the defense just, if I'm J.C. Horn's agent, I'm saying, hey, look what happens when J.C.'s out, and look, your corners get cooked. So clearly, whoever's the head coach next year, because I honestly do think Steve Wilkes' tenure could be in doubt. They got to address the cornerback situation. Keith Taylor, just in the last couple of years, just has not received maybe the type of coaching that he needs to get better. C.J. Henderson seems like a lost cause at this point. Unfortunately, they're still young players. They can get better. But the corners got absolutely cooked. I understand Dante. These aren't the starters. Like it's Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn. So when they come back healthy next year, maybe that adds some, some strength on the outside on the defense. Maybe add some more through the draft or through free agency. But yeah, it's a bummer. I was really, you know what? And the silver lining in this, that we were excited to watch Panthers football in January. Mind you, if this was any other division, we wouldn't have been in this situation. The Panthers not been in a situation to try to win a division with a 6-9 record. That's just, you just shouldn't be doing that. In other divisions, we would have been basically just like playing for the draft at this point, which we'll be doing for 1 week exactly. I know Steve Wilkes says they're going to finish the season, as you should. You have no choice. Guys going to be playing for contracts next year. Guys going to be playing to basically audition for their next team. That's the way I see it. Let's take some questions real quick. Oh, Sabic's play sucks to lose, but at least we got a good draft spot. I think we're picking 8th right now, behind the Falcons, who at last check I saw were winning by 1 point. Doing horrible. Hopefully next year. It's over. Donald Duck says, cut Keith Taylor and trade C.J. Henderson. Get a new center as well. Bozeman pissed me off. Move Wilkes to D.C. Get a new head coach and OC. I would not move Bozeman. Everyone has I think everyone had a bad day. The guys who should have had a good day had a bad day. Sabic keeps Steve Wilkes, cut half the quarterback room, draft CJ Stroud first round. Okay. And people did see CJ play yesterday. Use his feet. Use his gosh darn feet. Red Tiger all over the place saying we need Steve Wilkes to be out at head coach. We also need some good draft picks. Brazen, my guy. Out of New Jersey, saying Taylor Henderson couldn't cover a bed, let alone Mike Evans. Yeah, 200-plus yards for Mike Evans. I literally think they just ran the same play 3 different times for him to get a hat trick there. Do not trade DJ Moore. Okay, we need DB and D tackle now. Now, remember, we do have Dante Jackson, who they signed, and they have J.C. Horn, who just needs to stay healthy. This is my child's one of his Christmas presents. It's a cool penguin with a soccer jersey. I'm going to start watching soccer again. But yeah, all in all, let's talk about Steve Wilkes. This is my thing. I'm not one for living in the past. And yes, 2015 was great. Yes, they went to the Super Bowl, but they lost the Super Bowl. And I understand you want to bring that winning mentality, you want to bring that winning culture to the past, have people remember that. But if you guys watch The Last Jedi, Episode 8, you let the past die. You try to, hi mom, there's my mom. You try to reinvent smart. I'm not saying try to reinvent the wheel, think you're smarter than everybody else and try to think this college coach, can suddenly transition to the NFL and try to reinvent the wheel. Bringing in Josh Norman got people happy, made them remember 2015, but 2015 was 7 or 8 years ago. 8 years ago. You got to think about 2023, 2024, 2025. And it doesn't help that Steve Wilkes is a defensive backs coach, and his defensive backs, mind you, second and third string guys, got absolutely demolished in a game that they could not suck at. There are literally times CJ Henderson looked like he just stopped playing. He just stopped running. So, in my opinion, he did an incredible job having them play hard. They got rid of marquee guys, CMC, Robbie Anderson, Baker Mayfield, those aren't foundation guys. And they played better under Steve Wilkes. But history tells us the interim coach, even though he was a long-term interim coach, does not play out in the long term. Ian Rappaport, who's very plugged in with the Carolina Panthers, said that Dave Tepper and the Panthers are still going to go through the process. They're going to go through, the offensive minds. And Steve Wilkes, who still has to go through the interview process, has to show them his plan, especially on offense next year. If he comes back saying, I'm going to bring back Ben McAdoo, I'm going to bring back Sam Darnold, we're going to roll the dice again, that'd be a very quick interview, and I'd say, bye. And so it's up to his recruiting skills. He's got to put his college coach hat on, and he's got to start recruiting offensive coordinators. They suggested maybe the quarterbacks coach out in Philadelphia, maybe the Jets as well, to be offensive coordinator with the Panthers, because you're not going to get a hotshot offensive coordinator to just be an offense coordinator. You got to get the quarterbacks coach or whoever it is if they're going to be an OC. But I do think this is going to be a strike against Steve Wilkes, that the defense, which is his strength, could not handle this game, handle the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, who, mind you, they have the GOAT at quarterback. They just haven't been on fire. They haven't been themselves all year. And then they suddenly found their identity against your team. You're a defensive specialist. And so I think that's not great. They're not going to make the playoffs. They have another losing record. And keep preaching about stuff in the past. I'm not a past guy. I'm sure Panthers have an identity. Keep pounding. Keep pounding can have multiple terms. It's not just physically running it down your throat, pound, pound, pound. It's just about never giving up. And it seems like they gave up on the pounding part of the offense. That is the rushing attack. And so keep pounding. Atlanta, my wife, bought me that light. I'll be a mainstay. I hope Coach Wilkes stays in Carolina. I hope he stays in Carolina too. Maybe as a defensive coordinator. I doubt that. I'm sure if he doesn't get the head coaching job with the Panthers, that he'll get picked up elsewhere. But I see just situations, just like all these red flags. First of all, defensive played horribly today on the outside. Didn't really get that much pressure on the D-line. Quarterback, when asked, put into a position to try to win the game, could not do it. Need more weapons on offense. So you need an offensive-minded head coach, potentially, to use the weapons that you have or add the weapons that they think you are still needing at this point. And you need a quarterback who is in a game that you had to win. Like, this was basically a playoff game. Next 2 weeks supposed to be playoff games. You had to win those games. The quarterback had to win you those games. And Sam Darnold even said in the pre-interview that it's not all on the quarterback. No, it's not on you, because you are not the guy to be that quarterback. And it's nothing against him. I said he could be a great bridge quarterback. I think he's a great locker room guy. But you saw over the weekend what happened. You saw Bryce Young take over a game. You saw what C.J. Stroud could do. You saw that he could sling it and he can run. The literal over-under on rushing yards for C.J. Stroud was 1.5 yards. I think he rushed for about 50 or 60. So I think he can do it under the right coordinator, under the right head coach. And so this is now a draft profile page. Offensive-minded head coach. Sorry. I'm moving forward. Moving to the future, not living in the past. Unless Steve Wilkes has a great plan to bring in a great offensive mind to be his OC. Draft a quarterback. I forget who it was saying that basically pencil the Carolina Panthers trading with the Chicago Bears, who are picking number 2 overall, trading with them, have them move down from 2 to 8. It could be 7 or 6, depending if they lose in New Orleans next week. Could happen. New Orleans also just beat the Eagles too, but Gardner Minshew was quarterback. But he basically tweeted out, I forget who this NFL analyst was, basically saying, just pencil the Carolina Panthers trading with the Chicago Bears, the 2nd overall to pick C.J. Stroud, because I think that's what's going to happen. I look at C.J. Stroud and I see Carolina Panthers. I really do. There's something about it. I don't see Will Levis. I see Will Levis as an Indianapolis Colt. I see him as a Washington Commie. I do not see him as a Carolina Panther. But that's the way I see it. I want to see what Steve Wilkes' plan is moving forward. If he has a hotshot offensive coordinator, I hate to use these terms, but if he has a great offensive coordinator who I think can take advantage of what they have or add to what they have. What up, Murdoch? Andy Hislop. Hey, Phil. Sad loss. Lack of secondary. Costas, Henderson, Taylor are not. They're not, which is why they're not the starters. But they couldn't get coached up either. Ken Dorsey as head coach. We'll see how Buffalo does tomorrow. See how his stock is looking. Pass rush was non-existent today. Burns can't step up when it counts. It's a team game. Derek Brown had some pressure as well, but, you're also going up against Tom Brady. But they also know they had to win this game. The Bucs also had to win this game, and they played like it. The Panthers, they didn't. Most of it, like 60% of the team didn't play like it. So, yeah, opposite-minded head coach, unless Steve Wilkes has a great plan. Draft C.J. Stroud. Change the uniforms. And that's it. That's it. I don't think Ben McAdoo is going to be back. The fact they just give up on the run, which literally has shown us equals wins. Run the ball, don't put it in Sam Darnold's hands, equals wins. They did the literal opposite of all that. What happened? They lose to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Season's over. And I'm just thankful it's in New Orleans and it's not in Charlotte, because the stands would be quite bare. It'd be unfortunate. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Last comments. It's good we didn't make the playoffs. It reminded me how we scraped to the playoffs when we lost to the Saints and breezed 3 times this year. What are you going to do? At this point, all you have to look forward to is draft. Damn straight. If you guys want to do crowdfund and send me to Kansas City to cover the draft, that'd be great. Times are tough. But anyways, comment below how you feel about the game, how you feel about the offseason, because it's basically here. You want Steve Wilkes back as head coach? Do you want Sam Darnold as a bridge? Who would you want as your rookie quarterback? Last comment, hi, from Michael Wazlewski. What's up? Comment below. See you guys midweek. Bye. Bye.